On the 5th of May, 2011, 6:05 a.m., a baby was born. The parents looking at their newborn decided to call her Grace, because the years of trying for a baby had finally bore fruit, and it was only by the grace of God that they were finally able to conceive and birth their child. Grace's parents and grandparents adored her, being that she was the first child and grandchild of the family, so she was doted on by everyone, but not to the point of self-centeredness, as they had instilled the values of generosity and compassion for others in her. When she helped her mother in the kitchen, she was praised for being so thoughtful and helpful. When her grandmother would come home from the grocery store, she would help bring the bags in, and her grandmother would kiss her on the cheek and praise her. Whenever she did well in school, her father would gush over how smart she was and how bright her future will be. Grace eventually earned the nickname Good Grace, or Gigi, represented all the good traits about her, and was not only used by her family, but also neighbors, teachers, and peers. Everyone but her grandfather, who just referred to her as My Grace, didn't bother Grace too much. After all, she knew how much her grandfather loved her. However, things started to change when she turned 14 years old. Her friends at school had started to get into fashion and makeup, trying to emulate the girls they had seen on social media. Smoky and glittery eyeshadow, and blush cheeks, and glossy lips, combined with stylish clothes and kitten heels. All the girls were fawning over those idols. Although Grace knew her mother would not approve, so knew not to ask for the items. At home, Grace had just finished eating dinner and was helping clean up. She finds the phone on the dresser along with her mother's makeup and heels collection. It wasn't much, but still exciting for 14-year-old Grace, who had never even touched anything womanly. Grace secretly swiped some makeup and one of her mother's heels, to which she would return later. After handing her mother the phone and cleaning up, she retreated to her bedroom, where she had taken her mother's items. She starts putting the makeup on, and, with assistance from some YouTube tutorials, she set up her phone on her dresser and starts strutting to a beat. However, she got a little too into the fashion show and starts twirling and dancing, leading to her twisting her ankle and breaking the heel of the shoe. Grace, sitting on the floor with a hand on her ankle, the stumping of a hurried and anxious parent coming to see what their child has been up to. Her mother burst into the room, her eyes reading Grace's guilty expression, along with the hand on the ankle and a broken heel. Her mother, clearly frustrated, says to Grace, "What is going on here?" Grace tells her mother that she was just trying out things that her friends were talking about, and that she did not mean to break her heel. But her mother snaps back that taking things that aren't hers and without permission is wrong. Grace apologized to her mother, but was grounded for a week and forbidden to use social media until further notice. But that wasn't what hurt Grace the most. It was the fact that her mother had suddenly stopped calling her Gigi, or Good Grace, after that incident. Grace, feeling hurt, decided that she would go outside and practice her basketball skills, mainly shooting hoops because her ankle was hurt. It was all for naught, as she was absent-mindedly throwing the ball at a wall. She was thinking about what had happened and started getting more upset with her mother, and was now throwing the ball with more force. So much force that it bounced off the wall and landed on her father's parked car, breaking the glass. Her father, hearing the commotion, ran outside to the sound of the car alarm. "What is going on, Grace? What did you do?" he yelled. Grace, on the verge of tears, started apologizing immediately, saying that she didn't mean to break the window. But her father was livid and told her to get inside. From then on, her father too had stopped calling her Gigi. After a stern talking to, her parents decided that they would send Grace to her grandparents so that they would all cool off and release the tensions in the air. On the drive there, the car ride was silent, except her mother saying to Grace that she needs to think about what she had done. Grace felt numb and just simply nodded before she got out of the car and headed inside. Her grandmother loved putting flowers on display and would buy vases from all different places she traveled to. While she was sorting the flowers, her grandmother started lecturing her that although she might be upset that she was grounded, she needs to understand that actions have consequences. "But that's not why I'm upset," Grace said. As she throws her hands in the air, she accidentally knocks one of the vases off the table. "Aunt, I didn't I didn't do it on purpose, I swear." But before her grandmother could reply, Grace had already ran out the door. She didn't know where she was headed, but just that she needed to get away from there. Grace sat on one of the swings, wanting to focus on anything but the events that had played across the several weeks. There was a kite stuck in one of the trees. "It probably belongs to one of the children that play here," she thought. "Wait, a young child?" Grace runs up to the little girl in tears and asked her where her parents were. The child just shook her head and continued crying. "Okay, would you like a piggyback?" The girl immediately stopped crying and looked up at Grace. "Ready? On three, two, one." Grace starts making train noises, and the young girl is now smiling even wider. "What's your name?" Grace asks. "Mindy," the young girl replies. "Well, Mindy, how did you get all the way out here?" "I was following my cat." "Oh, I see. Well, your parents are probably really worried. Don't worry, I will stay with you." The girl nods. To fill the time, Grace starts singing cartoon theme songs that Mindy might know, and they both ended up singing together as Grace walked around. The young girl was having so much fun that she seemed to forget that she was lost, until they hear a frantic yell. They turn around to see an out-of-breath woman trying to catch her breath. Mindy jumps down and rushes towards her mother, now once again bawling her eyes out. Mindy's mother walks up to Grace and thanks her for helping her daughter. "You are such a good girl. What's your name?" "My name is Grace. Just Grace." "Well, thank you, Grace, for staying and comforting my daughter. That was such a nice thing to do. Your parents should be proud of raising such a great daughter." "Yeah," Grace replies awkwardly. The mother and Mindy said their goodbyes, and Grace decided to head back now. Her grandparents were probably really worried. The woman was right. Grace turned around to see her grandfather standing with his hands in his pockets. "Right about what, Grandpa?" "The part about your parents being proud of you." "No, doesn't really feel like they are." "Oh, why do you say that? Because they were upset with you?" "No, no, if you were called by a certain nickname all your life and all of a sudden they start calling you something different, you would think something is wrong, right?" "I know it sounds silly, Grandpa, but it really hurt my feelings." I don't think it's silly, love. Your feelings, that is. You feel like a part of their love has been taken away. But your parents may not even realize what they said made you upset, or rather, what they didn't say. I think it's best you have a chat with them once you get back home. But know this, I never called you Good Grace because I didn't think you were an amazing young girl. But to me, it didn't matter whether you were Good Grace or not so Good Grace, because to me you would always be my Grace. Now, let's head back home and watch your favorite movies with your favorite snacks. Okay, I'm in. Yeah, it's funny how we are drawn to things that are familiar to us, even when they may look different on the outside. The feelings will always remain.